And we're live. We're live. Welcome, welcome, everybody, to the Sisters United Hangout. I'm here in Los Angeles, and today our topic is haters and how to deal with them. Before we get into that, and we have a very unique perspective on that. Before we get into that, I'm just going to quickly go across the board and have each one of us introduce ourselves for anybody that might be new and don't know who we are. I am Valerie Jampolsky. I am the Abundance Mom Freedompreneur from Abundance Now. I am a single mom. I've got twin 5-year-olds. I'll do my usual naked kid alert, but I think they're pretty much settled in the other room. My kids tend, when they're at home, they have a tendency to not want to keep all their clothes on. And I am just so grateful to be here. Having come from being an attorney, if I was living in my old life, I would be sitting in an office surrounded by my kids and not even have the option to be able to give my kids a hug when they come in the other room, if they come in here in a second. So, and to be able to talk about all the things that really matter to me in the way that we're actually going to have a very positive and uplifting conversation about this very powerful topic today. So I am going to now pass the baton over, going on my panel left to right. I'm going to go over to Sarita. Oh, it's
Hello,
beautiful.
everybody. Sarita here from Perth, Australia. It's 11:15 p.m. here in Perth, and I usually sit in my office, but today I've chosen to sit in front of my heater because it's freezing here in Australia, which is crazy to believe. But yeah, it's gotten really cold. It's actually winter here, so July is pretty much the coldest month in Australia. I'm originally from Germany, so in Germany we would have summer right now, and it's actually my birthday month, so it's really strange. Everything's upside down in Australia. So yeah, it's kind of winter in July. Some people celebrate winter, Christmas in July, and yeah, I've got my Christmas tree up. It's Christmas in July in Australia. It's like really weird. And I can't wait, actually. I'm heading out to Vegas for another event, and also like a Women of Place event and our Empowered Network event in 3 weeks. So I'm super excited. I'm actually going to be roomies with Sheena, who is here. And Elizabeth was my roomie last time in Nashville, and she's coming to Vegas as well. And I'm going to catch up with Valerie as well. So it's going to be super excited to unite with everyone in the warm. It's going to be super hot in Vegas. So I'm super excited, bringing my bathers and everything. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting topic today. So quite powerful topic. So I'm looking forward to yeah, getting into it soon. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm excited. Just anyone who's listening from anywhere in the world, it's just every time I pop on here, it's just amazing just to hear. I've got Canada here, I've got Los Angeles, and Elizabeth, where are you?
I'm in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so totally, you know, from everywhere, and I just love what we do here. So yeah.
And I think there was someone in the chat. Did someone in the chat say there was Americans in Germany that was just there was a house?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Cool. All
right. I'll just quickly show you because I'm going to pass it on over to Elizabeth.
Okay. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Bowries. I am the mom from the Revitalized family. I work from home because I have 4 children that live with me, ranging in age from 23 to 10 years old. And we deal with everything from cerebral palsy to autism to heart conditions to severe asthma. And we're just running the gamut between doctor's appointments and normal kid-filled activities. It's really hard to do if you're not working from home, as any mom can attest. So I'll get back to Valerie.
Okay, I'm actually going to pass it right on over to Sheena. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Valerie. Hey, everyone. Sheena here. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I'm just excited to be in this panel again. You know, we have this topic that not a lot of people talk about, but I think, you know, if we find a solution to it, people can learn to deal with this topic a lot better. I mean, I have stories I can share, and, you know, we all, you know, I just think everyone has to deal with this, right? There's some things we can't control, but there are some things that we can control, like how to react from them. So I just can't wait to be here and just be able to build a business online, not able to worry about work and all that. Like in Toronto, they have the Pan Am Games, so they have a special lane for all the Pan Am people, and the traffic out there is insane, right? Because then there's less cars that can drive on the lane because of the special lane they made, and I'm just thankful I don't have to be stuck in traffic.
Love it.
Yeah.
I always forget, when I go out into, I accidentally end up outside in rush hour traffic, and I totally forget because it's just not part of my universe anymore. To me, and here in Los Angeles, the traffic can be pretty insane as well. It's like, yeah, just those little things that you don't have to deal with, and that commute, love it. Not doing the commute. This is my commute to my couch. For a short time to see you guys. That's it. So, Sarita, would you want to start off with the topic, because I know you had a very powerful perspective on this. Oh, Hun, you can unmute.
Sorry.
There we go. Gotcha.
I think I'm just gonna pass. I'm just
Okay.
gonna jump in a bit later. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll start out on this, and then we can pop on back and forth, and we'll be checking into the chat as well to get your thoughts, your perspectives, your reactions to anything that we say, etc., etc. So please let us know your perspective on these things and any thoughts that you have, and we will be jumping in and out and bringing you into the conversation, even though you're not here on camera with us. So something that is a very powerful space. I know, Sarita, you're going to talk to a different side to this, but because there's with this topic of how to deal with haters, okay? And there's one thing in terms of it's a perspective that kind of applies globally in a lot of different ways. And Sarita, I know you're going to get into another piece of this, but it's something that came up. You know how recently there was, and this is completely off from maybe what some people might think about, but recently there was the Supreme Court decision, okay, and celebrating equality in marriage, all right, in the United States, and there, a huge, wonderful, upswell. You can see everybody with their rainbow profiles on Facebook in support of of the whole community, and it was something that I'm going to say Michael Bernard Beckwith mentioned last weekend. Was very soon after, because the Supreme Court case came down on Friday, and he was he was sort of saying that in our celebration of equality, what that does is when something like that happens, okay, you can have an upswell of a lot of very powerful negative responses from a lot of folks that are scared, and this is where I'm going to get to this. When someone is, and that there could be a huge backlash from folks where that decision or anything, something's coming up in their lives that is shaking up their status quo, that is shaking up, bringing them into a fear place about their world and their reality, something that scares them. And he was talking about, in our celebration, to not create an exclusion and to have an understanding for the lack of understanding that causes the lashing out. And even going back as far as this, I'm going to bring up something else that was very big in the news here in the United States, where there was this individual that pretty much lost it and killed 9 people in a church, and it was race based. It was race based, and again, even, and which was so powerful, is even the people in the church are refusing to let hate take over. They're refusing to let that turn themselves into, taking their own energies into a place of hate, and really having a sense of sadness and compassion, even though they lost. I mean, this is intense. Want to talk about haters? They lost lives. Lives were lost of people that they cared about deeply to them, and even the families connected to it were not going to a place of hate to that individual and his actions. that it was having an understanding for the lack of understanding, because the moment you go into hate, then that it sends a whole other spiral. And if you want to get global on this, and I'm sorry, I just get emotional about this whole thing, because we can talk about it in our business, and we're going to relate to that as well, or anything. When anybody, no matter what it is in your life, they come up to you in some way, whether it's behind the safety of a computer and its comments and social media, or it's physically in person in your life, that globally having the reaction, having the perspective of really finding a way to have an understanding for their lack of understanding, because that's really what it is. It's someone that has lost sight of their own value, that lost sight of what is possible in their lives, and are living in a place of absolute fear and panic, like a small little child who is terrified and doesn't understand what's possible and needs reassurance about what is possible. Blowing something little up out of control, into a big thing, and forget, and no, literally almost seeing them like small children that need the reassurance, and the energy of 1,000 people. So the positive energy, positive thinking, positive vibration, positive thoughts, positive feelings in the direction of a person, in a direction of a group of people, even. That has more power than the negative. And 1,000 people coming into a situation with a lot of heart and perspective, and which affects also your activities and your environment of whatever you do, has more power than 1,000,000 people in the negative. It really does. Transformation can come from a few enlightened folks, which is in the sense of that. But really, I feel such encouragement, because I see such a powerful perspective, like positive perspective, from in the world and the community, even just in general. So many people that are in a positive, loving, more enlightened space about things than there used to be. And that is extremely encouraging to me. That's extremely encouraging to me. So just starting with those initial thoughts, and I know, Sarita, I don't want to jump into what you were gonna mention in terms of perspective on this, but those are some of the thoughts that I wanted to throw out and see what you thought of it, and what folks in our chat think about all of that. Who wants to pop out first on any of what I just talked about? Oh, Sarita, I unmute. I can see you're talking, but yeah, unmute. There you go.
I have been I almost didn't come on the Hangout tonight, because I find it actually, I've been kind of totally, because I believe in the law of attraction, I believe the more I focus on something, the more I actually bring it towards me. So for me, I think even discussing it could bring it towards me. So I'm like, not sure if I want to come on tonight, because it's just, but then I'm like, it's in this industry, like, I think, especially when you work online, anyone watching out there who's working online, we have to put ourselves out there. And, we do things like, I do post my income results maybe once a week, because I've been taught by my mentors to do that, because it's going to help me with my business. And every time I do it, I kind of cringe, because I'm like, I'm doing it because I've been told it works, so I'm going to do it because I'm doing it for my children. I want the best life for my children, so I'm just going to close my eyes and post my results, right? But I know I'm going to also get people who are going to judge me, and I'm just doing it because I think what's important when you work online and you put your life out there, I don't hold back, and one of the reasons I am successful with what I'm doing, and I can, I don't have to work a full-time job. I can just purely do this business and travel the world and really live off what I do, is because I share myself online. And if you share yourself online, you're also going to get people who, you're going to get inspired by you, but you're going to get people who are not going to like you for whatever reason. And, and it could be the closest people, it could be family even, So I'm kind of gotten over it because I've done it now. I've been doing it for 17 months now, so I feel really confident in what I do. I've been having my success, so I feel okay about it. But I think in the beginning I struggled quite a bit, and I think the first 8 weeks when I worked online, I didn't even tell anyone I was working online, and then I had to come out. It's like I had to almost come out with working online, and because I don't have really anyone close to me that has ever worked online, you know, there's always going to people who doubt you, and then you start sharing videos, and it's been a really interesting process. But what I love about it is that it's really empowering. You know, what we do is really empowering, and especially with, you know, the system we use, and you know, we do a lot of self-development. That is part of our 8 core commitments. You know, if you ever want to interested in what we actually do, you can join at the link below and have a look. But you know, part of it is reading every day, and you know, listening to inspiring audio. And if I wouldn't do that, I think I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have the results I have, and I wouldn't even be here on this hangout right now talking about something that's quite an uncomfortable you know, topic to talk about, because it is awful. And I actually had it happen to me. Not, you know, I had it happen with people that I don't really know and I don't really care about, and so it wasn't so bad. But I actually had it happen to me with close family, and so yeah, so it's really close to my heart, and I kind of have been avoiding thinking about it because you know, it is really, yeah, it can be really hard. But I think I have overcome it, and how I have overcome it is just by not focusing on it. You know, like everything is what you focus on, you give energy. So the more I focus, you know, I could be being obsessed with that, or I could be obsessed with, you know, improving myself. And so I just decided that I'm just not going to look at that, you know, and I know it's there, but it's not helping me obsessing about that some people don't like me or some people don't like what I do. And it doesn't help. It doesn't make me feel good. But what it helps me actually is just shifting my focus and on all the exciting things that are happening for me. And that's, I think, with everything in life, you know, whatever you encounter, whatever you're going through, there's always so much positive coming out, something even negative. And, you know, that's why I'm feeling actually quite at peace with it. Like, I'm okay with people not liking me. I'm okay with, because I know at the same time I've got so much love coming my way, and it'd be actually really sad if I would get upset about a few people that don't like what I do, because I get so much feedback from people that get inspired by me, and in the end of the day, it's like when we were talking about sharing our stories, and Paulina said, you know, if you really want to make a difference, kind of, you know, it's actually almost selfish not to share your story. And that's what I believe too. Like, my story, I'm not sharing it to make myself look good, or I'm doing it because I know that by me sharing my story and really putting myself out there, I'm going to reach a lot of people. And if I keep closed, you know, if I don't tell anyone about my life, no one's going to be interested in what I do. No one's going to follow me. No one's going to get inspired. And so I'm gonna do this fully, and I'm going to take those haters. That's okay, you know. And I understand also where that comes from. Enough self-development to know that it has nothing to do with me. When people hate other people, it has to do with people they haven't done any work on themselves. They have never looked at their own life. They've never done any. Usually, you know, I've seen counselors, I've seen psychologists. I continuously keep working on myself, because I know if I don't do that, I could easily project that onto people, you know, and I don't want to do that. So that's why I want to take full responsibility for my life, and that's why I continuously work for myself, and I'm a lot happier for it. Like, I feel like you could throw a lot of things at me, and I'm quite resilient. I'm quite happy in my own wherever I am at, and but it's come. I've done a lot of work on myself. So anyone out there who is actually being bullied, like and has had the whole hater thing happening, if be it online or be it offline. I mean, bullying is part of the whole hater phenomenon, or whatever you want to call it. I would just recommend you guys to really write down all the amazing things that you got in your life and really shift your focus. And if you get affected by the so-called haters, that's actually, then they're going to win that way. They're really, I think there's this one saying is like, one of the worst things that you can do to someone hating you is like for you to succeed even more. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to take revenge on anyone, but the truth is, like, just march forward and don't worry about. There's also a friend of mine said that to me, or I don't know who told me, but it's this saying, like, dogs, there's some dogs who are always going to bark. Like, you got some dogs who are like awesome, they're placid in the corner. Like, I've got one of them, Luna. She just lies there and she's so sweet and beautiful. But then you've got some dogs, they will always bark. Like, you could put you could take them to dog training, do all these things, and they're still going to always bark and bark and bark. And you just got to accept these dogs are going to bark. And then it's the same thing with haters. Some people are always going to hate. They're never going to go and work on themselves. They're never going to look at their, take responsibility for their life because it's actually too painful. And, there's like this saying of ignorance is bliss, because it kind of is. Because when you start looking at your own life and you have to take responsibility for why your life is the way it is, it's not a very comfortable process. And some people are just not willing to go there. And so that's why those people exist, and it's okay, And I just actually feel sorry for them, because the thing is, when you are in that state of judging everyone all the time, it doesn't feel very good. I don't think you'd be a very happy person. And for me, my own happiness is one of the most important things. If I'm not happy, my children are not happy. So if I would be in a constant state of judging everyone and talking behind people's back or making people look bad or whatever, I think I would feel awful all day, and I really selfishly don't want to do that. So I definitely rather be a loving person and love people, because it makes me feel good selfishly. And it brings good things to me and my family. So that's my part on the subject. But it's definitely an interesting one. And yeah, for those that are getting bullied and stuff, which I have been going through quite a bit, even with family lately, it's just like, it's almost like, don't make it more. I actually feel bad for the people, I feel sad for them, because they can't be in a very happy place if they do that. So just really focus on the beautiful things that are happening for you, because there's so much beautiful things happening all the time. Even from bad experiences, I see there's like so many lessons, and I've grown so much because of so-called bad things and so-called people bullying me or making me look bad or wanting to make me look bad. It's actually grown me so much as a person, and I'm actually grateful for those people, because I wouldn't be where I am, and I'm way more at peace at myself than I've ever been, and so it's a good place to be. So thank you to all the haters out there, because I just feel great. I am not great, but I'm saying I'm feeling more peaceful and way more loving and accepting towards myself than I ever have in my whole life. So, and I think it's part of, being able to accept those barking dogs and being at peace with that. Being like that Buddha that can meditate even with those mosquitoes sitting on you, and that's a pretty cool place to be. So thank you for listening. I hope that make some kind of sense. So.
No, I love it, and that's so powerful. I'm sure for other people watching this, to really be. I mean, the perspective to really make that focus onto the positive things and wonderful things in your life, and that compassion to be able to see, that it's the sad. It's sad. It's sad for, because anybody that is doing that, that's reaching out in a negative way to somebody else for whatever reason, whether it's someone they know personally or not, there's a sadness. It's sad because they're coming from a very, very unhappy place. That's what I mean. We're having understanding for their lack of understanding, because and the energy of love and positiveness going out, that's what's going to attract more positive to you, and if anything, to send hope and compassion in the direction of someone that's doing that, and then moving on into what is wonderful in your life, and not spending all the energy going, but they just said this, they just did that. It's so powerful, Sarita, what your perspective and all of what you share, and constantly inspiring people and doing all of that. It's just, I have great appreciation for you, and watching you over the past year and everything, and how you just keep staying in the positive and inspiring yourself and inspiring other people. It's really cool. Elizabeth, Sheena, who wants to pop out next? I see.
I can pop out.
I see you coming in and out. We have a little bit of, want to catch you while you got your internet working in there.
Well, I guess I feel honestly that a lot of the fear and the hate that comes out is because people really don't understand the situations that they're viewing. A lot of times hate is just fear. It's someone not being sure where they stand on something, not understanding what it is, and instead of going and finding out what it is, they turn around and they kind of go into themselves. They try to protect themselves from it because they don't know what they're looking at. I've gotten a lot of that. I'm a petite, tiny little thing. And it's kind of funny because I'm like the smallest one in my group of friends around here. And a lot of that is because most of my friends are very secure in who they are. When we go out places, there are comments that are made about my size or about how I wear my clothes or stuff like that. And usually it's made by people that are insecure about how they view themselves to be. And I've always told people when they've said stuff like that, they wish they were me, they wish they could be tiny. No, you don't. I mean, you have no idea how sick I have been. I have trouble maintaining my weight. I have, it's a constant battle for me to maintain my weight. And when they look at me, they see me as someone who is after their husbands, or someone that gets what they want by using their looks. Or these are all things that are not who I am by even the remotest stretch. But this is stuff that people say just by looking at me because they're insecure about something about themselves. And it's really difficult because there was a long time, there was like 2.5 years here where I live now, where I was a constant wreck. I was constantly crying because people were saying stuff about me that simply weren't true. And it wasn't until I realized that I'm giving them the power to do that to me, that, letting them say the things about me that weren't true and taking them to heart and knowing that they weren't true, and just, you know what, by being me, I'm showing everybody else that that isn't the case. When it comes to my kids, we've gone through a lot of issues where my son used to wear a brace when he was little. He has hemiplegic cerebral palsy, and it would go from inside of his shoe halfway up his leg, and he liked pink, so it was really bright pink. And every time we went to the playgrounds, people would see the brace on him, and he'd be walking funny, and he wouldn't be able to do things the way the other kids did, and people would pull the children away from him simply because he walked funny or he looked a little bit off. And it broke his heart. I mean, all he wanted to do was play with me. And so it got to a point where I started approaching the other parents, know what was wrong with my son. They just knew they didn't want their kids catching it. So I would go up to the parents and I would explain to them, what what's wrong with him isn't something that's catchy. What's going on with him is his muscles aren't forming properly. They don't have the strength that your child's muscles do. The brace gives him the ability and the stability to do the things that the other children do. And by doing that, he was more able to acclimate with the other kids. The parents would be more accepting. They wouldn't pull their children away. We've gone through the same thing with my daughter Caitlin. She's autistic, and for the longest time she was uncontrollable. She would kick and flail and bite and scream in public places. We had someone call the police on us in an airport because we were trying to get her into pajamas because we had a connecting flight and she didn't want to get into the pajamas. And people called the cops on us, and we had to explain to the police that she didn't like change. She didn't like being in situations where she was uncomfortable. Everybody doesn't like being in situations where they're uncomfortable. It's just an autistic child verbalizes it and shows it much more openly than anybody else. The rest of us turn around and we turn into ourselves and we ostracize the people that make us feel uncomfortable, and we don't let everybody else see that we're uncomfortable. We attack the things that make us uncomfortable. The difference between her and everybody else is you can see when she's uncomfortable. And she went to dance class for years, and there was particular girls would not touch her. You're supposed to hold hands and do the bow, and they treated her like a leper, an absolute and utter leper. No, there's something wrong with her. She does this, she does that. Well, I had been under the impression that the dance teacher had told everyone in the class what was going on, and she hadn't. And one day, one of the kids had approached me and said, Katie acts out, and she yells at everybody when we're supposed to be doing things and cooperating with different things. And I don't understand why she does that. And I had to sit down and I explained with the autism, she understands everything that's going on around her. But what the problem is with the autism is that the right brain and the left brain have lost the ability to absorb the enzymes that allow them to communicate, that allow them to get her thoughts through in a timely fashion so that she can respond. And because it takes a long time for that to happen, she gets frustrated because people don't understand. They're moving at a quick pace, and they just want her to move along with them. And when she can't do that, they get frustrated and angry and nasty with her, and that's when she acts out. That one girl, sitting down and talking to me with her mother, turned around and changed the entire opinion of the rest of the kids in that group, because they turned around and talked about what was going on. All except for those original two girls that had caused a problem with her, we're now looking out for her. We're now making sure that she was okay, and if she got overwhelmed, would sit down and ask her questions that she could answer yes or no, so they could explain to the other people around her what was going on. It's a matter of fear and not understanding what's going on. My 10-year-old constantly comes home. She's being picked on for her clothes. She's being picked on by this girl who says that she has to be a fashionista like everybody else. Fashionista in our house is a bad word, because the reason that we use it as a bad word is it's someone that identifies themselves with the current trends. And if you are not on top of the current trends, then you aren't worthy of their attention or other people's attentions. Now, my daughter wants to be a fashion designer. So, she goes towards classic style. She doesn't have to be a fashionista. What she has to be is someone that is true to themselves and is willing to look from within to without judging other people. And so when this girl tried to change the way my daughter dressed, because my daughter was much more popular than this other girl was, because she's kind to everybody. She accepts everybody for who they are. She includes children in her group that aren't necessarily included. This girl wanted the attention that my daughter had, and she was picking on her in the only way that she knew how, because she wanted her to change and want to be like her, so all those other kids would become friends with her. Now, my daughter tried to include her, and she turned around after she realized that she didn't have to have the little short skirts and the little half-crop tops and the little things that made her a sex object instead of making her be the person that she was. She explained that to that girl also. And, you don't have to be this to get other people's attention. All you have to be is nice and considerate, and other people will gravitate towards you. Did it work out? Not necessarily. But she tried to include that little girl, and everybody else saw that she was trying to include that little girl. and it made the other people more inclusive of her, but her own behaviors were what ended up causing the problems that resulted after that. Now, from any time they're in kindergarten on up through high school, kids are judging each other. Adults are worse than high school. I mean, we all talk about how we don't want to go back to high school, but we get judged constantly every single day. And the thing is, you have to look at it as these people may be judging you, they may be saying these things about you, but they're saying it because they don't know about you. They don't understand who you really are and what you stand for. As Val was talking about, a lot of people are using a religious bias to make the judgment call. But the fact of the matter is, it's just because they don't understand that it's people wanting to care about one another. It's just wanting to be able to share your life and get all the same benefits that everybody else is getting out of that relationship. And, you know, it's okay to have those beliefs that marriage is between a man and a woman, and that's fine, but you also have to remember that being able to love someone and feel loved and encouraged in your life and being able to encourage somebody else is just as important. And whereas it's just another way of doing it. That's all there is. This is just a different opinion. And we're all welcome to have our own opinions. That's what makes it great, because by having different opinions, people can turn around and they learn. And you know what? When somebody gets really upset about somebody else's opinion, it's because they're not sure about it. And the more upset they get, and this sounds kind of funny and weird coming from me, but the more upset they get about your opinion, the more time they spend talking about it and thinking about it. And so you can't really get upset with them for having a differing opinion, because the more they think about it, what you're saying, the more likely they are to change their opinion. And I know that sounds very weird, but it's actually very true, because I like to push the envelope. And that's one of my little taglines, pushing the envelope for a better tomorrow. Because you know what? I've gotten to a point in my life where I understand that not everybody's going to agree with me. And I'm finally secure enough in myself and with my kids that knowing that if they don't agree with me, if I just continue being who I am, if they want to talk about it, sooner or later their opinion's going to change. And you know what? By letting them be who they are, by letting them to voice their dissent, as long as you know that's not who you are, as long as you continue to set the example that you're a good person that helps other people, you're not looking for something to come back to you, the more they see that, the more their opinion's going to change. They can say whatever they want. But the fact of the matter is, you are who you are. You are the person that's putting out a good example. You are the person that does for other people. You are the person that tries to look at the lighter side of things, and eventually that opinion is going to change. And when it does, maybe they'll have a better outlook, a more positive outlook. So you can't take it personally. The more angry somebody is about something that's going on, the more they're going to think about it, and possibly, maybe not immediately, but further down the road, their opinion's going to change, and maybe you and your actions have actually enabled them to have a more positive outlook. That's what I teach my kids. We go through it, oh my goodness, constantly. There's constant different negative things that come in from all angles. Everybody has that in their life. But the more we look at it, the more we view it as our ability to set a good example, you know, the more we can see that little by little those people are changing. Not a lot. You know, they're still spouting whatever they want to spout, but little by little they change their attitude. My 14-year-old's favorite thing to do when somebody says something that upsets her and says things that are mean to her, she goes out of her way. Goes out of her way. It drives me absolutely insane. Goes out of her way to go up and greet them and say hi and how are you and what are you doing and oh, I'm so happy for your achievements. She goes out of her way to be overly nice. You know, personally, if the person doesn't like me, I don't go out of my way to see them or talk to them, but my daughter does. And she goes and she brings all these positives right up into their face, into their reactions. And she's like, on the one hand, she's showing them that she's not the person that they think that she is. She's showing other people around her that she's not the person that they think that she is because of this person. And she's giving them a reason to turn around and try to be more positive themselves. And I'm very proud of her for that. I mean, when she first started doing it, I'm like, what are you thinking? but I've seen it change a lot of people when she's at school or just in the neighborhood or at the shopping center. And to see her making that kind of a positive change, taking the negatives and making them positive. So I do it among my friends, I do it among my kids, and she takes it right out there. So, it's a wonderful thing to see because you don't see many people doing that. You don't see many people trying to share the positive. And I think that by doing that, she's inspiring other people to do the same. And everybody's so quiet and so serious again, and I keep doing this.
We're listening. Elizabeth, that's so powerful, and I love how, when you were saying that, people they don't have an understanding. I mean, even specifically with physically what's going on with your kids or whatever, and that you had a choice, and in a lot of those situations, you could have come from anger at the teachers or whatever else is going on, and instead had a conversation to reach out, to the people. You had a conversation. You came from a place of, well, maybe they just don't understand. Instead of like, how dare you? I mean, which you could, but you didn't. It's not how you handled it, and you came in with a, maybe they don't understand, and they're scared, which is really, I mean, it sounds so simple. And
I'm not going to claim to be a saint. I get very angry. But, the fact of the matter is the anger's not going to be the thing that helps me. Yeah. It's going to be taking the time to try to take the look at what the other person's viewing and seeing. Yeah. And if I don't do that, then I'm just perpetuating the problem.
Yeah. I want to bring out Sheena on all of this. I wanted to just quickly, because Sheena, you actually commented on something that Regina had put into our chat, which I want to quote. Regina wasn't able to be here live with us. Just a second here. Yeah, Regina Van Velden and or Sheena, do you want to talk about Sheena's Regina's what Regina put, what you commented on Regina's chat, a point in the chat, and then I'll bring you out. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Just a second here. I got to get back on our page, and I'm going to pull you up. There we go.
Okay. So Regina mentioned. Where was it? Here it is. I like it. Haters are actually a good thing, aren't they? Once you realize that they're really just projecting how they feel inside, your perception changes about them. So, I mean, that's, some people take it the wrong way, some people take it the right way, right? I always believe in just focusing on the good from haters. I mean, we all have them, right? Everybody has them. There's no way, someone says everybody likes you. Because even the most famous people in the world, like Donald Trump, Beyonce, Oprah, they all have haters. They just learn to focus on the good. And, I mean, for me, I remember when I used to have a job, there was these ladies that just didn't like me. They just hated me for some reason. And I never understood why. And, before I would be mad. I'm like, I don't understand what I did to them. I was always nice. I've always been good to them. I never fought with them. But, you have to realize that two wrongs don't make a right. So if you're mean to them, it's not going to solve the problem. So the only way to do that is just to be nice, right? You just kill them with kindness. That's what I say. Because if you're being like rude and hateful to them, like it just brings more negative energy, and it just creates an environment where both of you feel bad. Whereas when you're nice to the person who's maybe hating on you or jealous of you or who just doesn't like you, I mean, you feel better, right? You feel better even though they're still mean to you. They still talk behind your back. They still, they don't include you and things like that. It doesn't matter, right? You've done something good. And in the end, it may take some time. It might be you might have to be patient about it. But sometimes they come around, right? I mean, this isn't the first time it's happened to me. It's happened to me like 2 or 3 times. And at first I would be the same. I would treat them the same they treated me. But then I looked at that and I said, that's not how it's going to solve the problem. The only way to do that is do the opposite. Just start being nice. Do a little something that they would never expect, right? Do something that they would never expect, and I don't know how long it will take. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it might take a year, but some of them come around, right? Some of them start being nice to you after, and you're just like, oh, you have this different outcome, right? And I think the more we project love into this world, the more we can have more positivity in this world. If you think the answer to all these problems is fighting with each other, having wars and all that, when really you just have to learn how to love on people, learn how to believe that we can all, get the things that we want in our lives, and just keep on inspiring others to just go out there and do something. So, you know, that's for me. That's it, right? The only way to deal with haters is to just love on them. You know, just
Mm-hmm.
pour as much love as you can, even if they don't like you. You know, if they say you're a bitch, just say thank you, have a nice day, right? And to be honest, being online, I don't even focus on on the haters as well. If someone gives me a bad comment, I just delete it. It has nothing to do with me being mad or stuff, but it's just I don't like projecting negativity around me, so I'd rather just take it out and just have more positivity. It's not having to do with hiding it from anybody. It's really just you don't want that kind of stuff on your walls or on your videos and stuff. And for me, I just like to project positivity. So the more positivity I see, the better, right? I like to eliminate as much negativity in my life as possible. Like Sarita said, you know, she was afraid to talk about it because she doesn't want to attract it. Same thing. I don't want to attract that stuff, right? I mean, there's certain people on Facebook who just complain about life, and I don't even pay attention to them, right? I have to like block them or unfollow them or even unfriend them because it doesn't serve me any purpose when someone complains about the traffic. Like, well, you can change that course, right? If you really hate that traffic, then stop working and start building a business like what we did, right? We joined a community of online entrepreneurs, and we decided to, you know, roll up our sleeves and just get to work, right? But, you know, these are some of the things you have to do. You have to choose whether you want to deal with traffic or do you want to deal with online haters. What's worse? I think sitting in traffic for like 3 hours is probably worse. So, you watching this, you have a choice. You just don't think you do, but you really do have a choice. If you want a better life, you have to make better life choices, right? If you want people to stop hating on you, start giving love. It's a simple it's a simple concept, but it's not easy. I get it, but the more you do it, the more the better you'll feel about yourself, and the more you can give out to the world. So that's about it.
I love it, Sheena. It's short, sweet, and really powerful. Because it is. I mean, you really bottom lined it. I mean, it's just like sending really love on people, and that really is the answer. I think we have an echo. Let's see.
Sorry, that was mine. I'm good now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, and Sarita, I think you even shared. I saw you shared something on one of your pages. What was it, Maria Angelou? Oh, she's talking about loving on people, and such a powerful. It's a powerful place to be in life, and really that positive energy is really. That's what's going to transform the world. It's going to transform our situations, and it'll ultimately help to transform the other people. For them to be able to just see that they're just scared. And a lot of times, for anybody that might be dealing, with stuff and have people in your life that, as you're listening to this, maybe you're noticing that you've got anger or hatred, whatever, maybe to something, because things will pop up. You'll start thinking about certain things in your life, where and how you've handled it and stuff, and a lot of it is it doesn't have to be a scary thing, because it really is just a matter of just remembering who you are and the beauty of who you are, and helping other people see that inside themselves as well. But it's not so much, it really doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It's absolutely irrelevant what you've done even a second. All that matters is what you do in the present moment. Because thinking of, guilt about the past, it's an energy in the present of what you're creating in the future. And all that matters is the here and now. Even in the future, all that's going to matter is the here and now, right? 10 years from now, it'll be now to you, right? And living each now from focusing on what's good and what's wonderful. I love, Sarita, what you post. You're always posting things going, life is beautiful. And to see the beauty and the awe in little things everywhere all the time. I mean, just you do. And it's one of those wonderful things, and helping folks to be able to just adjust where they're looking. And having compassion for someone that's so stuck in pain that all they see is darkness. And all they see is fear. And it's a sad place to be. Anybody that lashes out is living in a really sad place, and to have compassion, to separate from it, because it's got nothing to do with you. Was it somebody else? I'm just gonna quickly go into somebody else's comment on our page. Lucy commented on here. She says, I've been dealing with one particular hate her since 22. She says, I'm 41. It took me many years to realize the issue was the other individual and not me. Previously, I'd react to the rumors and lies spread to my own friends and, and mothers in my children's school. And the reason I was reacting is because I was afraid there may be some truth in it. Now, after time, in self-development and getting to know and love myself, the only reaction I feel is pity. Pity for this person. They must be so low emotionally to be judging and criticizing every day for so many years. And it's so true because and that's it's let me come back over here, so I'm looking at to see where we are. It's sad, that's where, and I love, Lucy, what you said about the transition that you went through personally of realizing that it is about them and their sadness, and it's sad, and to have heart and compassion, just as Sheena says, love on them. Well, I see two of you. You have twins now. You're twins, Sheena. I love it. You're for a second there. Sheena became an identical twin. There's a pattern interrupt for you. I just thought it was so cool. Look at that. I see two. Oh, and there's almost like there's two of us. There's two of us, and we have a side to ourselves that we can allow ourselves to go down that negative rabbit hole. And then there's the side where, like your daughter Elizabeth, I love it. She goes out there and just goes with love to people, and all of that. If there's a message in all of this, it's to really lift the energy on it. Look for Serena, if you want to hop out with last words, it's like to look for the positive, and do what we do and share your life. Share your life, and that it's okay. It doesn't matter where you are to come, and I've actually made some determinations myself with certain individuals that have in my life. The next time that I'm around them, I'm going to be coming to them from a place of heart and love, and they'll either take it initially or they won't, and it's okay. But maybe that'll start the shift, and they can to have a place of compassion for the pain that they must be in terms of the way that they look at their lives. It's sad, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I would like, my energy is that what we do is by just being ourselves and celebrating life and looking at the positive and everything wonderful that is around us, and always there to be noticed, frankly, if you look for it, that we can raise up everybody incrementally, one by one, over time, and especially if we're doing what we're doing online, because it's there. I mean, we can do things that stay there and will be there, like this wonderful video of Mariangela, and you can listen to it. And I hope Sweetie can come back on. Oh, you're there.
Oh,
yeah.
It's really bad picture. I'm so sorry. My laptop just dropped out, so I might have to find.
There we go. I love the candles in the background, the Eiffel Tower and everything. It's so cool.
I'm giving myself some self-love with my candles. Yeah. Popping quickly, just to say, it is pretty much like it's been an interesting topic, and I'm glad I came along. But for anyone out there who's struggling with that, or because it can be really soul destroying, is my main advice would be shift your focus, focus on the love. And there's also something that just popped into my head, but it's very true. Sometimes we want love from particular people, but there's always people giving us love. There's always someone being kind to us, and us as human beings, I think we're very focused on getting that love from a particular person. But really, there's always love around, and there's, and it's truly about shifting your focus once again. If you realize, maybe that person that you really want love from, or even if it's your dad or a really good friend of yours that you're like, oh, why they're, judging me, why they're, and you really want their approval or acceptance, it's like shift your focus. Who's right now giving you love? Who's right now appreciating you? There's always actually people, even if it's someone at the shop being nice to you, like, there's always love around. You just got to look for it. And that's my last little thing. I don't know how much longer this video is going to last with my internet. But it's been an interesting topic, and I just want to affirm and assure all of you, like, your focus is everything. What you focus on, it expands. So you focus on and you're going into victim mentality. You know, that's what happens. Like, oh, no one likes me. You know, because of this. You know, I'm never going to succeed because I've got this whatever issue or. Yeah, that's victimhood, you know. Stop being a victim, you know, focus on the beautiful things out there. There's so much beauty and there's so many amazing things happening, and the more you look for them, you know, the more you look for the beautiful things, the more you look for the love people giving you, the more you look for miracles and magic, it's actually right in front of you. So that's my last little bit. And I love you all, and I look forward to connecting with any of you. And yeah, click on that link below if you want to join any of us, because what we're doing is pretty amazing. I'm very excited to be a part of this. I've actually never been that excited in my life about something, and yeah, it's helped me grow so much as a person, and yeah, have a, you know, even feeling really good about leaving a legacy for my children. So it's a pretty cool thing, and I won't stop posting on Facebook for all those haters out there. You're gonna see a lot more.
I love it, Sarita. I love it. And on that, yeah, share the love, live the love, connect with us. Yeah, you can find us down below. And any other last words, or we'll sign off and we'll see you all next week. Everybody, we're good. Okay, great. I'm gonna bring out Sarita. I just love it. I love the glow of the candlelight. It's so cool. I'm so excited to see you all soon. All right. Love you all. See you all. Connect with us below.
Bye.
Mwah.